welcome back. It would appear you successfully ran the gauntlet of bone gnawers and came out the other side. For that, I owe you some credit. But tonight we will be discussing a tribe quite different from the bone gnawers and black furies. The Children of Gaia. There is no tribe quite like them. Oh, they earn derision from us and from their peers among the Garu nation. A tribe of pacifists, of peacekeepers. Could there be a concept more ridiculous in these creatures built for destruction? And still they cling to their peace-loving roots, their bizarre rituals and traditions that supposedly espouse that all of the Garu nation must unify. That, I can agree, would be a dangerous prospect, and yet it is an impossible task. I get ahead of myself. These Children of Gaia did not start like the other tribes. They were not just planted by Gaia herself, popping out of the ground, finding a totem, and going on their merry way. No, there was a time in history when the changing breeds, werewolves key among them, decided they would hunt the humans more than any other. This impergium, this massacre of humanity, was supposedly to stop the encroachment of the Weaver on the world. Perhaps it would have been better for the Garu nation had they succeeded. But they did not. In part due to the actions of these Children of Gaia, or the werewolves that would become them. Some werewolves had no taste for the blood of human. Some were cowards and fled from battle. Others had their various and sundry reasons, but needless to say, enough of them fled the Imperium, and were found by the Totem Unicorn. This camp of runoff, this camp of cowards, were dubbed a tribe. Need I point out the low standards that exist within Gaia's Chosen? And the Children of Gaia, what a pretentious name. Surely all Garu are Children of Gaia, and I'm sure they would say something very similar. Still, that paints them in a very, shall we say, humanitarian light, a particularly high conscience on those werewolves. It was not always the way. There was another time in ancient history when the changing breeds were at war with each other, again at the instigation of the werewolves. These lycanthropes believed themselves to be the ultimate predators, and those who were seeking to claim otherwise were their enemies. And now the Children of Gaia, known for their peace, known for being neutral parties in most every conflict, said, "We will open up our territory to all that flee, all that wish to remove themselves from conflict." You would be amazed how many fled to their domain. You would be amazed at how many Children of Gaia simply played possum, allowed these guests to arrive for shelter and succor, only to fall on them and massacre them when their guards were down. Oh, this is no propaganda. This is no worm spread lie. This is something that the Children of Gaia tell themselves night after night because they are so guilty. Oh, they are war guilty. They know that they have committed crimes worse than many of the subsidiaries of this company, and yet they so wish to atone. Perhaps that is why they do such perfunctory roles in the Garu nation to this night. Maybe they are trying to make up for something. Either way, their struggle with their dual nature is what makes them ultimately pathetic. They deny it, they bottle it up. But do not be mistaken, many a first team has descended upon a cairn guarded by Children of Gaia, thinking, well, these pacifists will just roll over and die, or they will flee into the woods, or they will surrender, something of that ilk. No. Bottled up rage is still rage, and when it comes out, it's perhaps even more fearsome than rage that's let out regularly. Many a first team has fallen. Many a Fomori has fallen. Indeed, one of my fellows on the board of directors was once slain by one of these Children of Gaia. Oh, it was an accident. I'm sure the werewolf would have it that way. You see, the Gaians are particularly keen on disrupting our deforestation enterprises, our industry, our factories, our complexes, our laboratories. And so, they have no, shall we say, compunction against setting a bomb, starting a fire, flooding a whole section of Silicon Valley just because our offices are there. Killing everyone in their wake because the ends justify the means for the Children of Gaia, because the greater good is the most important thing of all. Oh, they will do it. They have done it. You recall Hurricane Katrina, you recall the great flood that hit New Orleans. Now, which Thurges do you think were in communication with that great spirit in the Umbra? The Mississippi. Which tribe do you think coaxed her to break her banks and wash away all of that vile worm and weaver taint from New Orleans? Oh, I cannot be sure that it was the Gaians, but I am reliably informed by a colleague that it was. His colleague, Francesco, Black Spiral Dancer. He knows many things of the Children of Gaia. They are a permanent thorn in his side due to his operations down in the Amazon and elsewhere. But the Children of Gaia, they have a very coloured history, a very mixed up past. When I was but a mortal, I recall the days when the Children of Gaia, oh, and I was aware of them, don't worry. I recall the days when, in order to suppress that dual nature, they would cling to mortal faiths and the codes of chivalry, just to suppress what they were. It reminds you somewhat of the Camarilla, perhaps, an organisation with which you are not familiar, and you will be glad for not being so. So, what are they in these nights? Are they still attempting to be pacifists and barely suppressing it? One thing they are is perhaps the most numerous tribe next to the Bone Gnawers. While their numbers are not necessarily increasing, they are not going down either. Now, when we first started investigating this, we presumed that it was because they had some breeding program in place, much like the Silver Fangs are said to have. It was nothing so malicious, shall we say, nothing so vile and vulgar. No, they adopt. You see, just as the tribe was formed in the first place of offshoots and outcasts, the tribe today is the same. Find a child of Gaia with ancestry that runs all the way back to their founding. I guarantee you will find it a struggle. Many of them are male Black Furies. Many of them are meti-mutants. Many of them are just werewolves that could not cut the mustard in their own tribe. How pathetic. How pathetic. And you wonder why the Garu nation perhaps looks at them with a certain amount of derision and, well, pity. Many just don't understand them at all. After all, they are creatures made for war. War against us, supposedly. Well, what's the purpose of the Children of Gaia? The Children of Gaia say war does not have to be the answer. Love, compassion, forgiveness, etc. can be the answer. That's a very interesting concept, but you're telling this to creatures that can turn into werewolves about 4 feet taller than I, about 4 times as strong, and about twice as wide. Creatures that you cannot reason with, creatures that like to tear doors off hinges and rip heads off of necks. Yes, peace will be the answer. Francesco has a theory behind why the Children of Gaia espouse peace and do not involve themselves in the war of the apocalypse. His theory is that the Children of Gaia truly intend to rule the Garu nation. This is not so far-fetched. There are a number of Thurges and Philodox within that tribe who claim that in the coming years the werewolf numbers will drop severely. And specifically, we're looking at the Get of Fenris, Silverfang, Shadow Lords. red talons. Now, as they drop off, the leaders will be decapitated. The leadership will be decapitated. Having all of the leaders decapitated is a dream come true. Mostly due to infighting more than our aims, not that we won't be trying to add fuel to the fire. This will leave the Children of Gaia by far the most numerous tribe, the most solidified, the one with the most straight-edged goal, being, well, now that we have seen what we have lost, perhaps we should all aim to pull in the same direction. The Children of Gaia have attempted this before, but there are too many strong voices from other tribes that say, no, we're doing it our way, war, 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 rage, rage, rage. The Children of Gaia say, no, we need to unify, we need to outthink the enemy. Their fellow tribes people are having none of it. If those fellow tribes people do not exist, if they are dead, if they are not coming back, well, in that case the Children of Gaia's voices will be heard a little louder, and perhaps they will have a chance to rule the Garu nation. Now, I consider this all highly unlikely, but Francesco says to me that they intend to not only unify the tribes of the Garu and point them all in one direction, but to also unify all of the changing breeds. Now, the Children of Gaia were just as culpable when it came to their dilapidation, shall we say. But Francesco argues that if one tribe were capable of bringing those other changing breeds back to Gaia's side, all pulling in the same direction, it would be the Children of Gaia. So what can we do to combat them? What can one do to combat them? Nothing. One cannot, but Pentex can. You see, the Children of Gaia's game is a long one. They require their peers to start dropping off before they can rise to prominence. Well, we play the long game very well, and we have very deep pockets and a lot of patience, and I have a lot of time on my hands. We can outlast them, of course we can. We can also spread the rumours about them that they just do not like others to hear. The aforementioned one being one such rumour, them being cowards, them taking in those that would cause the apocalypse, the mutant offspring of 2 werewolves. We can do many such things. The Children of Gaia are no great threat. They will not come and hunt you down, or at least very rarely. So as long as you stay out of their way, they will stay out of yours. That is my findings. However, if you want to take serious action against them, you sow a little information via some of our subsidiaries, via some Banes here and there, some controlled spirits. They get in touch with some of those changing breeds, some of the really elusive ones. You have to work hard to hunt them down. You tell them about the role the Children of Gaia played in their ancestral massacre. You point those changing breeds towards the Children of Gaia camps, and you see the fur start to fly. For all their talk of being the arm of the goddess and the mouth of the goddess, for all their talk of being peace-loving werewolves, when their lives get threatened they will defend themselves, and we can only win when the changing breeds attack one another. The best weapons against these creatures are to break up their unity, to sow mistrust, to ensure that no one follows their banner. 300 years ago I spoke with a black spiral dancer, and I said to him, what would it mean if the Children of Gaia were the only tribe left today? He said it would mean we have won. Well, we don't have long to wait.